or to hold the Eiffel Tower or to get the Acropolis, and they really are putting themselves in danger. Like, you realize one of the most...
Same thing again, in consideration, I don't give a damn about the damn traffic. I don't care about James. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be checking out a video titled 10 Most Annoying Habits of American Tourists in Europe. I can think of a few things that probably would annoy. Well, to be honest, I actually cannot really think of a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things that Americans are loud, but the reality is it depends on what American you're seeing, because like for a person like myself, I'm not loud. However, I've seen people, military, right? Those are the only people I've ever seen outside of the United States. Keep that in mind. Military. But yeah, I've seen military, and they're not loud and they're not obnoxious. They're very quiet. You know, you can just sense the presence. Because I was in the store one day and I was like, yo, I feel something is here, man. Like, what's going on? I seen Brody walked around in a uniform. I'm like, that's American. That's American uniform right there. That's American military, right? They didn't have the big, big nice flag that you could easily see it. It was the camouflage looking flag, so you couldn't actually tell from afar, that the flag was there. But I was like, oh yeah, that's America. What's going on? Why they here? Come to think about it, the entire store was flooded with American soldiers, and they weren't loud. So I definitely think that the American that you are seeing has a lot to do with how, you may experience them. Because you do have a lot of Americans, and you do have other Americans who know how to, respect the environment they're in. Anyways, man, if you guys have any recommendations, click that link in the pinned comment section and you can recommend videos and I'll check it out as soon as possible. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get right into this video.
Hey there, fellow travelers, Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're in Nafio, Greece, and today we're going to talk about are some of the ways American tourists annoy Europeans when they come here for a visit. And the thing is, a lot of the annoyances I'm going to talk about, these aren't things that just American tourists do. These are things that tourists from all over the world do. However, since English is the de facto tourist language in Europe, it kind of gets lumped together that anybody speaking English being annoying must be an American, or they could be an Italian, they could be Swiss, they could be Spanish, they could be from anywhere, okay? And I think the first kind of annoyance I want to bring up is just the being loud. And being loud, but being loud and not aware of your surroundings. Nobody cares if you're loud when you're on the beach, you're having a good time, or you're at a club. No. It's when you're at a restaurant and you're like shouting your love for Athens or how uncomfortable the beds were at that hotel, and you're just being loud. Like, that's just it. When you go around Europe, you'll notice there's not a lot of loud people. Yes, when you go to Spain, there's boisterous Italians. Yes, there are those. But in general, when you're going out to eat, you're not expressing everything in 10 decibels higher than usual. And this is one thing, I know I've made this mistake too, is it seems like when we travel, our voices just get louder and louder. So do be aware of that.
I think excitement plays a role in it. But me personally, like, if I'm criticizing something, like, I'm gonna hit you one time and that's about it. Like, I remember I traveled in Finland, South Finland to be specific, and there was a zoo, and I said it once and that was it. I hated that zoo so much because, like, the day was so hot, right? And this is coming from a guy who's used to warmer climate, but being in Finland for quite some time, 20 degrees is freaking melting pot for me, right? But freaking hell, I was there and the zoo was just straight up trash to me. You couldn't see many of the animals, and it was just straight up trash. I know it's likely because of my timing and such like that, and I wasn't just, loud about it. I was just, I was chill, and, I didn't like it because I was really drained that day, and then, my excitement just went. But yeah, I think when you're excited, that you'd probably be a little bit more vocal. But I don't know about being sad and disappointed in your vocal. Like, that's just weird to me. But yeah, some people do it.
If you're in restaurants or you're out and about or you're at museums, you want to kind of tone down the volume because that annoys people. And especially if you're on public transportation. I mean, there's trains in many countries here in Europe that actually have a quiet train where you're not supposed to talk. And so if you hop on and start talking on your phone, or even better, talk on your phone with a speakerphone, yeah, that's a bonus annoyance anywhere in the world. If you talk on the speakerphone, please don't do that. No one else wants to hear about your constipation problem in Portugal, all right? So do be aware of that. So tone down the volume, you'll be okay. And kind of going along with that, another thing that annoys people is when you kind of complain when things don't work out exactly like you expect. Or
I just
everything's
did
not
that.
perfect, like just like it back home. That insults people because basically what you're saying is, well, your culture here, your country here sucks, and ours is so much better. And you have to realize this, you're in a new country, you're in a new place, and things do work a little bit differently. Because I have heard people complain, oh, the metros are so full. I'm like, well, yeah, you're in Paris during rush hour. People have to get to work. That's part of life. There was a video that went viral a few weeks ago about this lady that was complaining, like, oh, they show these beautiful pictures of the Amalfi Coast, but they don't tell you how you have to take a train and then a bus and then a ferry, and then there's all these people there. Well, yeah, shocking.
You got to research, baby.
To travel, right? And so those kind of complaining things, that kind of annoys people when you're here. And yes, there are annoyances that annoy them. Dog poop on the street annoys everybody. But the complaining kind of thing, the kind of comparison, putting them down. And this is something that
I don't know if dog poop annoys everyone. I think it only annoys the person who wouldn't do it and the people who just don't have pets. But I think people who would do it are not annoyed by it because there's no way you could be annoyed by your own crime and your own sin. I personally, I'm very annoyed by it. Like, it's one of the things that can get me from 0 to 100 real quick. I hate inconsideration. And I know, I've heard it that there's a lot of European places where this is something that actually is freely done, right? But the irony is, you do this in the United States, you are shamed, right? People will be angry. They do have signs and so on and so forth in a lot of places. I can't speak for the entire United States, but I can tell you from certain locations, they will get angry and they'll be mad at you because, like, get a dog, waste bag and, get rid of the waste that the dog made, stuff like that. So I've seen waste in Finland and I'm like, damn, bro, like, I get it if it's a cow, a horse, or one of those things, but like, it's kind of messed up, but I do understand complaining about it. I do understand how that can hurt somebody's feelings, but it's an iffy topic. It's an iffy topic because nobody should, in my humble opinion, be, ready to witness or view puta on the floor from a dog. So I really don't know what's the take on that, but y'all can let me know. But complaining about it in a very verbal and loud way, definitely not something that I would recommend. However, voicing your opinion and your thoughts about it, I'm not going to really flag anyone for that because I do believe that, we all have things that we don't like and we want to talk about it.
those kind of complaining things, that kind of annoys people when you're here. And yes, there are annoyances that annoy them. Dog poop on the street annoys everybody. But the complaining kind of thing, the kind of comparison, putting them down. And this is something that other Europeans do. I see German tourists traveling around to Portugal, Spain, or Eastern Europe, and they definitely look down their nose at them like, oh, how are these things not working like back in Germany? So it's not just an American thing, but just the complaining overall. You can complain, but keep it amongst yourselves in your hotel room. Don't be complaining to the locals. And another way you can really annoy the locals is really basically like if you've got too much luggage or you're not being aware of your surroundings again, but in terms of space, that means blocking the metro entrance or blocking the
Oh yeah, if you're a tourist and you do this, I'm just being real with you. You deserve to be slapped. You deserve to be slapped. Get out the way. Tourists or no tourists, I hate people who do this. I was here in Finland one day and I'm telling you, I was going through the supermarket and I'm coming through. This dude he's in the supermarket and it's just one aisle, right? And the aisle's pretty wide. Dude has it wasn't even a trolley. It was a basket he's holding in his hand and he's far away from it and he sees people coming down and I'm like, yo, move, bro. In my head, I'm like, yo, move. Like, you cannot be that inconsiderate that you know that there's somebody here wanting to go by and you're just hogging like that, bro. Like, you gotta move. Like, the world is not yours. The world is where you are and there's other people there. You gotta be considerate. And I hate inconsideration. I hate people. I hate being around people who are very inconsiderate because, like, dude, why not care about the other people around you, man? Like, golly.
Or the metro, or having all your luggage blocking the whole sidewalk so people can't get by. I mean, people are still living, have to do things. And when I see tour groups that are just like literally, it's like almost like they put their arms out like this to try to take up as much of the space as possible. Of course, it's going to annoy people. So if you're going to be in a tour group, stand to the side. I mean, you don't get the entire street. You don't get the entire sidewalk. People need to get to work. So be aware of that, because that's why some people really, really don't like tour groups, because a lot of the tour guides, they don't care about people in that community. All they care about is making their tourists that are off from their tour from the cruise ship happy because they're the ones who are going to tip them, going to give them money. That's their job. So do be aware of that, because it really comes down to just being selfish. I mean, we're all selfish people. That's what it is being human. You are selfish, but when you travel, trying to tone it down a little bit, because that's going to help you blend in better, but also have a better chance of making friends when you travel. Now, another thing that I know as Europeans when you travel, and this is not, again, not just American tourists, but lots of tourists, when they wander out in the middle of the street to get that perfect picture with the Eiffel Tower or the Brandenburg Gate or wherever, and you'll see people literally like wandering out to the middle of the Champs-Elysees to get their picture like this, or to hold the Eiffel Tower, or to get the Acropolis, and they really are putting themselves in danger. Like, you realize one of the most...
Same thing again, in consideration, I don't give a damn about the damn traffic. I don't care about James trying to get home to his wife, Mary. I don't give a damn. I'm just doing me. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. Like, get out of the way, do things in a way where you benefit and somebody else is benefiting. Like, don't do things that is gonna allow you to become a risk. Okay? Like, I don't get it, and I totally agree, man. I totally agree.
Dangerous parts of travel is car accidents. I think that's one of the, if not the highest, the number 2 highest reason why tourists get killed when they travel is car accidents. And so if you're out there trying to get that perfect picture in the middle of the street, yeah, you know what? If you're here in Greece, you're gonna die. Like, people are just gonna boom, knock you over. So don't do that, because that's what people are like, what the heck are you doing? Like, I see the locals like ripping their hair out when people are trying to walk across the circle around the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. There's stairs to go down. And that's just it. Some of these pictures you take that are dangerous, there's spots you can take it without being dangerous. There's a whole huge park behind the Eiffel Tower you can take pictures from. The Brandenburg Gate, the other side, there's actually a pedestrian square you can stand at and get your pictures. So think about those things, because you're putting yourself in danger, but also those drivers out there, you're putting them in danger too. Now, the next annoyance that happens with American tourists is when they only speak English. Now, I'm not saying Americans should speak tons of languages, because all those things that people say, well, Europeans all speak 5 or 6 languages, that's a bunch of BS. I've traveled all around Europe. I've lived around Europe. I lived here for 12 years in multiple countries. Yes, a lot of people will speak the local language and in English. But the ones that are like, oh no, they speak French and Spanish and Portuguese and German and English and Rätoromanisch and some Luxembourgish. Yeah, no, those are the Luxembourgers. Those are the Swiss. You go to Spain. The Spain speak Spanish. Some speak some English. You go to Portugal. Yes, there's a lot of English there, but and some Spanish.
LeBron James!
You're going to need to learn some...
I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, LeBron James is a basketball player in the United States. But either ways, regarding the language situation, I'm bad at it. Like, I want to learn Finnish. I know a little bit, but you know, like, it is pretty good in my humble opinion. Like, even if you don't know the language, like, to know the greetings and the thank you or appreciation, greetings and appreciation in the language. I think that is a very good thing to at least know. Like, I'm not gonna tell you to get out of your own tree limb and just, oh yeah, I gotta, you know, bust my ass and learn Greek. I gotta learn all these European languages just to travel there. I'm not gonna tell you to do that. I'd give you more of an advice to just, you know, try to make friends or, you know somebody from that location, and then you actually could be visiting that place without actually having to know the language very well, because that person will be your spokesperson, you know? So yeah, that is actually my advice that I would give, but I would definitely say know the greetings and the appreciation. So, you know how to say thank you, know how to say hello. You know, very, very, very good things to know. You know, good morning, stuff like that, good night. Those are just basic things that I think you should know, because if somebody walks in the streets and they're like, hey, you know, in their language, hola, hola. Why did I say hola? Hola. How do you say hola? How do you say hi in Spanish? Dude, I am actually messing up my own Spanish. Like, I used to know Spanish very well. Hola, 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 hola. How is it again? Is it with the H or without the H? Hola, hola, hola. Damn. Okay, hola mi amigo, like hola, hola. I think it's hola. Yeah, whatever. Bonjour. Let's go with bonjour. Like, they say bonjour. You actually want to be able to say bonjour or something like that back to them, you know, in their language, but whatever. Freaking don't even remember Spanish.
You go to Spain. The Spain speak Spanish. Some speak some English. You go to Portugal. Yes, there's a lot of English there, but and some Spanish, but there's not a lot of other things. You go to Italy. You're going to need to learn some Italian when you're there. And so I'm not like harping on anyone for not knowing the language. It's the not trying. Because honestly, just a efharisto, which is thank you here in Greece, will go a long way. I mean, honestly, wherever you go, learn thank you and cheers, and everybody's gonna love you. I mean, hi, thank you, and cheers. You might get free, free raki or free uzo here in Greece just because of that.
That's
right?
a lie.
So
Don't do
just
that.
know that trying some of those languages go a long way, because if you just start out in English, and then a bonus upsetting people is that just speaking louder when they don't understand you, that gets things worse, okay? So just a few words, because they'll know you don't speak it by the way you say "Haristo," thank you. Like, I say it badly, but it's close enough. They're like, look at you, funny American trying. You want some uzo? I got some for you, buddy. You need some meatloaf? I got you taken care of. Because honestly, overall in Europe, these things really don't annoy them a lot. It's not like it's going to cause you really fights, but these are little things you can do and be aware of so you can be a better traveler when you're here. And when you've been here, I think another annoyance you might think about is when you say, I've been to Europe, when all you've done is like a weekend in London or you spent a week in Paris. Look, it's like if you go to the U.S., someone goes to the U.S., say, oh, I've been to the U.S. I went to New York City. I went to Orlando. I'm like, yeah, New York City's cool. Orlando is Orlando. But does that truly represent all of the U.S.? No, we have all...
First of all, Orlando is not even the definition of Florida. That is not even the definition of Florida, man. Come on now. So, yeah, I totally get his point, and I would never recommend somebody to do that. Like, in my humble opinion, like, be more specific. Like, every time when I speak about Finland, I speak about South Finland. I even live in the country, but I still speak specifically where I'm talking about. So I think it's very important to actually have specifications in everything that you're saying, especially when you're talking about your journey and how you traveled and experienced things, because specification goes a long way. But yeah, I definitely would recommend not saying you visited Europe, because Europe's a continent, and I know, yes, you did visit the continent, but you need some specifications on that freaking visit.
Kinds of different, topography, geography, people, food, all kinds of stuff. And here in Europe, it's even 10 times that, because you have so many different cultures, so many different countries. So a visit to Poland is completely different than a visit to Portugal. A visit to Norway is completely different to here in Naflio. And by kind of lumping them all together, it kind of cheapens their cultural feelings, and it makes you look bad. So be like, oh yeah, I've been to France, I've been to Paris, until you really explore a lot, you'll start to see, wow, there is a lot of difference. It's not just one Europe. There's a lot of different Europes out there, okay? And now another thing I think is important for those of you that are proud of your European heritage when you come here, and that is sometimes in some countries really promoting your 100% Greek heritage or your 100% Irish heritage might backfire, because you're coming, you're thinking, yes, I'm going to the old country. I'm seeing where Yaya and Papuli were from. I'm going back to see where my grandfather, great-great-grandfather left from Dublin and how he got here. Yes, you're really proud of that. But the locals here, they do not see you as a Greek. They do not see you as an Irish, a true Irish person. They see you as someone with an Irish background that's here on vacation. Oh, you're a Greek American that's coming here to spend a month of the summer. Because I'm going to tell you right now, coming to Greece for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks in the summertime on vacation, making US money or Australian money or Canadian money, isn't the same thing as growing up here, having to live through the austerity measures in the early 2000s. It's a whole different ballgame. In Ireland, there's a lot of resentment because, look, just because your 5 times back generation grandparents were from Ireland doesn't mean you understand what it means to be Irish. You weren't here during the Troubles. You don't understand those things. And that can cause some resentment. Now, it's not everywhere. I know for me personally, when I found out there's a little bit of me that was Lithuanian, I just brought it to my friends. Oh, yeah, there's 5% Lithuanian in my family. And all my Lithuanian friends were like, yes, you're one of us. And so it is different places you go, so it might be something you want to be aware of. Now, another thing that might upset Europeans, and this is it gets to that point eventually, is one, you might notice that sometimes they'll ask you questions like, so why are so many Americans fat? Well, I am fat. It's because I have...
If somebody asked me that question, bro, dude, I'm just I've been asked a few questions about America. I can't really think of them right now because I think most of the questions that I've been asked are what is it like with this or that in America or something like that. I don't really remember them, but it's mostly questions like that. So what is it to buy a car? What is it to drive a car? What is it to take a public transit? Something along that line, but nothing like why Americans are fat. That is
have a lack of self-control. That's very simple. But they'll point out, oh, you Americans, all you eat is fast food, all you eat is junk food. And that's not what gets them mad. what gets them mad is when you point out, it's funny, when I walk by the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and the KFCs and the Taco Bells in Spain, in Portugal, in Greece, in Germany, they're not full of American tourists. They're full of Germans. They're full of Bulgarians. They're full of Maltese. It's the locals that are even there too. And Europeans are getting a little bit more supersized, not like us supersized, but they're getting a little bit bigger too. And that sometimes irks them when you point out that, look, it's not just Americans that eat junk food. Other places do as well. Another thing I've seen, this is one thing that any tourist does.
No, that is true. I think when you backfire things on people, it hurts them, a lot of times it hurts them because like we're humans and, sometimes we don't even pay a lot of attention to our own flaws. And sometimes when, you point it back at somebody, they're like, oh, damn. Cool, because like a lot of people have said about Americans being fat and so on and so forth. I'm not a representation of the fat community, obviously, but I've stood my ground and be like, bro, like what are you talking about? Broski fat right there. Like where we at? What are you talking about? Right? So, and it'll hurt somebody's feelings, but but I'm not the type of guy to care so much about people being fat, because it's their life.
Really not a good thing. It's really disrespecting monuments and disrespecting cultural heritage in different countries. Because I've been places where people are doing their duck-face selfies in front of concentration camps. What the hell is wrong with you? Like those kind of things. Or people that are playing parkour on the Jewish memorial in Berlin. And they're like, well, the artist wants it to be lived on. Really? Come on. I mean, this isn't just something American tourists do. This is something any tourist does. So be respectful when you go around. Don't be making a fool, especially in very solemn locations when there's memorials or places where people have died or battlefields. I mean, it's a very important thing for a lot of people, and it will insult people sometimes when you do that. And then, as an American, I think there's one kind of important thing you need to know that will upset some Europeans no matter what you do, and that's just the fact that you're American.
You exist.
Look, it doesn't matter what political party you're for. It doesn't matter political parties at all. There's people that don't like what the U.S. does, and so they will take that out on you. Even if you have nothing to do with it, it's just a fact of life. So be aware of that. And that's one thing you'll see is sometimes the locals know more about politics in your country than you do. And I'm not just talking to the U.S. I'm talking all around the world, from China to Brazil to wherever. And just be aware of that, because sometimes they will kind of transfer that misunderstanding, that dislike onto you as a traveler, okay? I mean, I've had people swing at me before because I was American. I don't think I'm a very bad tourist, though some people probably do, but I don't think I am. So just some things to kind of think about. And I'll be honest with you, most of these things you're going to be doing, if you do them, no one's going to say anything. Nobody's going to care. But it might be those little differences that get people to come up and talk to you. Get up and say, hey, why don't you have a drink with us? Or, hey, what are you doing here in Greece? What are you doing here in Italy? Why is some weird guy here in Lithuania? Tell us more. And that's how you get to make some really good friends when you travel. So don't think these annoyances are only things that Americans do.
I'm scared to make friends out there, boy. Like, come on now. Like, random people making friends. Woo! But nah, that's really how you make friends. I remember one time I was in a store here in Finland, and a guy was like trying to speak to me, and he was speaking multiple languages, but I realized he was trying to speak to me in German. And yeah, he was asking to buy me a beer, and I was like, oh, dude, I already bought food. What are you talking about, dude? And yeah, I ain't took the beer, but yeah, it should be like that though. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.